And good morning, everybody. It's time now for Putnam County Today here on 94.3 WREB. With us this morning from the Greencastle Police Department, Chief Tom Sutherlin. And Tom, it's that time of year when proms are coming out. We've got Memorial Day holiday and people just in a general party type of mood. And we need to tell people about drinking and driving.
Absolutely. I know this past weekend we had 2 of our county schools had proms, and had an opportunity to speak to a few kids on Friday at Area 30, and my message to them was make good choices.
Right.
Of course, none of the high school students are old enough to be drinking,
right.
So we hope they're not drinking. But also too, it's getting there and back. Here's a big time in their life to get to go to prom.
Right.
You can't go to prom unless you're a junior or senior. And so I was telling them to make good choices, drive safely. You don't have to speed to get where you're going. Make sure you wear your seatbelt. It's the law. Most importantly, have fun, but be safe while you're having the fun.
Exactly. And you guys actually, at the beginning of the week, were all part of a mock crash over at Greencastle High School, right?
That's exactly right. Captain Tom Helmer with the Putnam County Sheriff's Department contacted us. He was contacted by someone from the school requesting us to do this event, and I know Captain Jones was our lead officer on day shift, and himself and Officer Jeff Monlin and Officer Albert Eppel represented our police department in that mock crash. And I think it just gives the students an opportunity to see truly what can happen.
Right.
Because I know the scenario was set up that it was a 2-vehicle accident. One of the drivers was intoxicated, and so they did a complete scenario of field sobriety test, actually handcuffing that individual, putting him in a police car, transporting him to the jail, and showing him how the data master works and actually running him on the data master. They also took the accident a little step further and actually had a couple of students pass away. Used the coroner's office to actually go to one of the family's homes and make a death notification. So, they really made it to act like it was a real thing, real scenario, what we would actually do right. In a real life situation like that.
And unfortunately, you guys in law enforcement and in the fire department rescue have to make these too often, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I look at a situation, especially when it comes to drinking and driving, that's something that can be prevented because people know it's a law that
right.
we enforce. If you're going to drink, make sure you have a designated driver to get you somewhere safely, because it seems like that the innocent people driving down the road are the ones that become victims. It's not
right.
the actual drunk driver for whatever reason. They live through a lot of them, but it's the innocent people that are getting from point A to point B and cross paths with a drunk driver that suffer the most.
And I think a lot of people don't understand too the real hard consequences. If you have an accident, you've been drinking and you kill somebody, you can face manslaughter charges.
Absolutely. I know they keep, they've changed the laws on us, but I'm not exactly sure what they would be charged with other than, you're operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, causing death. And because they've changed the felonies on us from felonies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 instead of A, B,
right.
C, and D. I'm not sure where it would fall in there, but it is a serious crime that would cause a person to serve some serious punishment.
All right. Well, let's turn our attention, and of course, want to remind folks, even Memorial Day weekend, law enforcement will be out in numbers, right?
We'll be out. We'll have folks on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just like any other day. And it's an opportunity for people to get together and have cookouts and picnics and so on and so forth. But once again, make the right decisions. We're not saying you can't drink, but we're asking you that if you do drink, not to drink and drive. Get a designated driver and get home safely, and so we can have a safe holiday.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the good side of law enforcement for a while. You guys, especially the Greencastle Police Department and the Fire Department here in Greencastle, you guys do such a tremendous job at community outreach. What do you guys got planned coming up as far as reaching out to community? I know you do some like the National Night Out and things like that.
We do the National Night Out in August. One thing that we've recently done, they ran the article in the paper about, is we recently received a grant from CVS Pharmacy. Because the DEA is no longer sponsoring the drug take-back days that we were doing twice a year. So this is one way of us continuing to allow folks in our community, in our county, to get rid of those unwanted, unused, or expired medications, and they can drop them off at our department. The box is mounted in the front lobby of the police department. We prefer folks to drop them off Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, so we have someone there at the window observing it being done. I will tell you that the box is under surveillance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have a video camera on it. But that's an outreach that we're going to continue to do. We will continue to have the drug take back days, maybe not as often, but it's still an important thing in our community to do. It gets that medication off the street and not in the hands of young kids who think they need to experiment. So yeah, that's something very positive we're doing in our community, continue to fight the drug battles that we have.
And you guys have done a tremendous job at reaching out to the area youth and everything. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, it seems like every other week there's a new type of synthetic drug out there. Are you finding that that's ever slowing down as far as a new drug coming on?
It's not slowing down. I wouldn't say that they're reaching Greencastle in an abundance yet, but they are out there. Kids are learning to experiment for whatever reason, and I know the big one that we're seeing right now, I think it's got a nickname of Flacco, is out there, and it's causing some serious health issues with these folks. And if it's not prescribed by a doctor, you can't buy it over the counter, you shouldn't be using it.
Exactly. What should parents kind of look at, to kind of keep their kids safe?
Well, I'm a firm believer that as long as the child lives in your home, I understand they have a right of privacy, but at the same time, if you're the homeowner and that's your child, I would strongly encourage you to get involved in your children's lives.
Right.
If that means knocking on the door and they're in the bedroom, and go in, sit down, and have a conversation, and look around. Paraphernalia that you could be looking for would be rolling papers, pipes. They can make homemade pipes out of aluminum foil. They can make them out of pop cans. Anything like that might suspect, syringes, spoons, that they would heat it up or melt it to get the liquid in the syringe. Anything like that. Signs of agitation, bloodshot eyes, having disillusions, thinking things are there that aren't there. These are things that the parents need to look for, but I want to encourage parents to get involved in their children's lives.
Right.
I'm not saying that they need to rip the room apart and search for it, but that is your child that you've been given to raise. So love them, care for them, see what's going on in their lives, be a part of their life.
All right. Well, Tom, we appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. We, of course, wish everybody, safe travels during the prom season and the holiday season. So hopefully you don't have to have any guys out doing notifications this year.
That's something that we don't like to do as police officers. Go knock on a door and tell a family member that their loved one is no longer coming home.
All right. Well, Tom, be safe. We appreciate it, and want to remind folks about if you've got some unused prescriptions, you can drop them off anytime at the police station.
Exactly right. Monday through Friday, between 8 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon is the best time to drop it off, because we have folks there in the front office that can help you out with any questions you might have. The only thing we ask you is not to bring sharps. No needles. That we don't have a way of disposing them like we do the other medications, so we would ask you not to bring anything that's got sharps or needles involved.
All right. Well, Tom, we appreciate it. Don't forget, if you're a nonprofit group or community organization and you'd like some free airtime here on WREB, you too can be a part of Putnam County Today. Give us a call at 653-9717.